seconds. All right.
I'm watching at the other end, so.
Three Grots in a Vox is intended for a mature audience. This means there will be crude language and discussions of adult themes, especially if we're talking about Tactical Marines or Gabriel's Seth. Viewer discretion is not only advised but encouraged.
Just a few seconds.
All opinions are our own and often given for humorous purposes. Any advice is given largely for entertainment purposes and would probably be ignored. But if you do learn something useful, count it as a win.
And I think that is us now live. Sorry about the teething troubles. Apparently, first time I clicked go live, nothing really happened.
Well.
I'm no YouTube expert, I guess.
There we go. We are live. I can see the YouTube is in fact working.
Good.
And
Good.
People can, I think, see us. If you can let us know in the chat if you can hear us on all that usual jazz. So have you already streamed tonight? I just when I click to get this up.
Three Grots in a Vox is intended for...
Have I already streamed tonight? Yeah, I was on live for like 20 minutes. No, maybe like half an hour. I literally had no plan. I just went live and said to people, the balance data slate is out. I don't know if you've had a chance to see it.
I have. Not like... Usually with these things I spend a couple of hours and I go through it compared to the old ones and all this other stuff. But I've had a quick buzz through.
Cool. First impressions?
It's a bit of a non-entity, really.
Yeah.
Minor tweaks here and there. Sanguinary Regard went down a tiny bit. Death Company went up a tiny bit. I really don't think it's going to make much difference to... I mean, it's going to make a difference if you're running like a 3 max 10 unit of Death Company and Lamartes and all this sort of stuff, then sure, it's probably going to make a difference to you. But if you're running a more balanced army where you've got maybe 1 unit of those or something like that, it's probably not going to make much difference to you.
All right, cool. Carter, Maximus, Jordan, Marius, lots of people in the house. Hadley, good evening, lads. Good evening. How are you all? We're just gonna. Who makes these updates? Someone that doesn't play the game very much, I think. I'm being very negative today. I'm sorry.
I have to admit that I was really, really hoping for some meaningful custodian drops after their absolute bin fire of a codex. But,
yeah, I mean,
we didn't get those.
I was really hoping for some meaningful change to bloody here's what I'm looking for, right? I was looking for a new way to play as opposed to we'll just add 10% to all your expensive models and take 10% off all your cheap models. But we'll ignore all the models again that have been ignored since the start of 10th edition.
From a play point of view, I don't think we're in that bad a position. To be honest, it works all right. I don't feel particularly weak at the moment. I don't feel overly strong either. I feel like we're fairly balanced. But this, like I say, this balance update is just a non-entity. It's not really done anything. We're not any stronger. We're not any weaker. We minor tweaks here and there is.
That's where it ends up landing. Yeah, that's the thing. So Marius says, why is the line 300 in Gilliman is 350? Well, they do that. I guess if a unit doesn't really have like a meaningful, I wouldn't even call it meaningful. It's like if people aren't spamming the unit and making it almost like winning tournaments all the time with the unit, they just leave them. I think they should do more breakdown of units that get 0 play, right? Like we know, for example, I said this before, Reavers get no play.
Yeah, but without rewriting the data sheet, they're not going to get any play either.
No, I suppose not.
Until you make them basically free. I've just realised I've done a boo-boo and not actually filled up my water pot.
Okay, well, go fill up your water pot. I'll fill the dead air. I can answer some more questions from chat. Eternal Crusader says the next update will have all the rule changes. Will it? Why will the next update have rule changes? Because it's a 6 monthly update. The thing is, those rule changes are never that big, though, are they? They're never that meaningful. Do you think a ton of Death Company intercessors would be any good? I think you'd be much better off getting a ton of. I think you should get. If you want to get something, I would get 30 of the jump intercessors. Honestly, 30 jump
regular assault intercessors either. In fact, I'd rather have 30 regular assault intercessors than 30 Death Company intercessors. I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
They've got a more meaningful special rule,
and they can actually OC stuff and don't need to be babysit by chaplains.
I think regular intercessors, assault intercessors at the moment aren't too bad. And the jump intercessors, which took a point cost drop, are very good.
Yeah, no, they're the big winners, I think, in the balanced data slate, honestly. I think possibly it's just because they've got a lot of jump intercessors to sell. I mean, I don't know why they needed a points drop, did they?
I think maybe everybody except us isn't really using them that much.
Oh, right, okay. You mean like...
I did see the Goonhammer thing. What they were talking about was the loser for Space Marines was the Iron
Storm. Yeah.
And so the Iron Storm weren't really running them.
No, well, I mean, Iron Storm really are a tank detachment, are they not? Or an arbor detachment, I guess.
Yeah. So, because at the moment, I mean, we were running a lot of Iron Storm and things like that, and a lot of Gladius. But at the moment, since we had our tweak, I think a lot of people are really enjoying playing Sons of Sanguinius, and they really benefit from jump intercessors. So, in that respect, to be honest, it's weird, but I see the change to jump intercessors and the Vindicators dropped.
Yeah, the Vindicator is a big winner.
I see the change to the Space Marines is more impactful for Blood Angels than the change to Blood Angels was.
It's been that way for a few, probably.
Yeah.
But it also like you said, it kind of net zeros because like a bunch of Blood Angels players are running that double Vindicator. So if you're running double Vindicator, your list went down 30 points for the Vindicators, but your Death Company went up 30 points. So there's actually no difference.
Yeah, whereas I'm running only one unit of Death Company and 2 Vindicators. So actually, for me, it's
so it's a net win.
It's a net win for me.
Good for you, sticking to your guns. Marius says we should come back to the Gladius detachment. The red Ultramarines. He just wants more Ultramarine friends. I think that's what that is.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. He's just sad that nobody likes his little Smurfy boys.
Don't be mean. So what? So I was going to say. So what? So last week on the channel we did our review of the 10th edition Tau Codex.
Yep. Which
was pretty cool, actually. A lot to learn in that video. And then I have been working on my first 1,000-point Tau list. I think you have as well, Tony, yeah?
Yeah, I've written mine. I've just got to film it.
Yeah. I have got like 500 points with a nice combo with my, I think it's a Cold Star Commander.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm building a Retribution cadre list, which is, if you don't remember, is the battlesuit.
It's the one that if I was to build Tau tomorrow, it's the one I would build. To be honest, because it looks like the most fun.
It does seem like pretty fun. So yeah, on the channel in the next couple of weeks, we'll have little videos coming out about 1,000-point Tau lists because we're all working on one. Mark as well. He's just
working on one.
He's just not here tonight. He's on holiday again, I think. Is he?
No, he's got family.
Oh, that's it. He's got family.
Family's over from abroad.
So tell us what you're painting tonight. It's Commander Dante.
Yeah, so on the last stream we did, I did quite a lot of Dante. I'll zoom in a bit so you can see him a bit better. If I can get this to work. Here he is.
Yeah, there he is.
There is my Dante. He's now nearly finished, but he needed basing. So I'm going to base him. I'm going to unify his finish a little bit with some varnishes, a few pigment powders and things like that, and then we're going to do some shiny gems. And then that is all I'm going to do for him. He will be done, as it were. And yeah, that's that. So he's been actually a lot of fun to paint. I've really enjoyed doing him. And I'm quite pleased with the way it's come out. It's a little bit dull in here, annoyingly, because I can't use my painting that while we're filming. But I'm quite pleased with the finish.
I was going to say, so you might actually get to play him now, I guess, with the change to Zangri Guard, will you? Maybe?
I'll certainly give him a go, because I'm all about the fluff and the narrative anyway.
Yeah.
So I'd have run him with Sanguinary Guard, regardless.
Cool. I do want to try him at some point. I really do want to. I do want to try him.
He's all right. He's a bit of a beat stick, I think, from what I can see. I don't
Yeah,
think he
that's
brings
what
much
I want to
to the
see him do some beat sticking, I guess.
Yeah, I don't. Problem is, I still don't know what to put him with, because even with their fairly negligible points drop, Sanguinary Guard just don't hit hard enough.
Yeah, no, I think that I wrote a comment on the GW post on Facebook saying that they don't hit hard enough.
So I just don't think they're going to make enough of a difference.
I don't think they hit hard enough for a 400 and something point unit, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good evening, Aradine. Hello. I'm not playing Tau, Eternal Crusader, but we're trying a new initiative on the channel where after we've done the what do we call them? Once we've reviewed the codex, we're all going to make individual lists for it, because we used to tack them on, but the videos were getting the videos got quite long, so we're going to release those as separate little videos. So that's a new thing that we're going to be doing in the next month. So you'll see a video from me, Mark, and Tony about like our first Tau lists for noobs, basically. Got the hairdryer out. Serious business. I guess he's. So I guess the interesting thing will be like what, if anything, changes with the Blood Angels meta. I think it's still going to be Death Company. I think it comes down to Death Company have the best data sheets, so they will continue to dominate the meta, right?
I mean, it's certainly the hardest hitting thing we have in melee.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've never been a fan of running loads of Death Company anyway. I think it kind of in for a penny, in for a pound kind of like approach when you're running loads of Death Company like that, because I find that you either win magnificently and just annihilate, everything, or it all goes tits up and you fight someone, they just shoot your Death Company off the table and they will die. And I don't like that style of play, that kind of win hard, lose hard style. I've always preferred to run a more balanced army.
Yeah, I've been trying to run more units to make more use of the Sons of Sanguinius detachment, I must admit. Whether or not I'm doing it right, I think is up for the debate at the moment. Carter's looking at a Terminator with a Terminator Chaplain. You think that might be spicy because of the +1 to wound from the Terminator Chaplain?
Yeah, well, no, it gives Lance, doesn't he?
I don't think he gives Lance. I think he just gives +1 to wound, so you actually get it if you are charged as opposed to just when you're charging, because that's the problem with Lance, right?
Yeah.
It
is. So the Terminator, I've been running the Terminator blob with the Terminator Chaplain for most of 10th, and I've really liked it. I still don't rate the Assault Terminators. I don't know why they bother dropping their points to 10 points and then dropping the regular ones 10 points, because I'm still going to run the regular ones over the Assault ones.
Yeah, I think that the Assault ones have the same problem as the Sanguinary Guard, and there's a data sheet problem, not a points problem.
Yeah. So the regular Terminators in Sons of Sanguinius with the Terminator Chaplain hit at bloody strength 10. They wound everything in the game on a 4-up. They get a decent number of attacks, and I just think they're brilliant. I really do think they're very good. They're a bit slow is the problem.
Well, Terminators have always been a bit slow.
You've got Land Raiders and that if you want to run them around. They're just a bit slow once they're there.
Yeah, I haven't really played them much since they went to T5. Maybe I need to give them another try.
I've really, really liked them in 10th so far.
I don't think they'd work in 10-man, but maybe 5s?
Yeah. Sorry, I don't run a 10-man unit, but I've really enjoyed them in 10th edition.
All right, okay, sorry.
I'd love to run a 10-man unit just for a laugh.
Hello, Phil. Good evening.
It's just funny, isn't it?
Yeah, Terminators have big ass bases though, so when you start running 10 of them, it gets tricky very quickly. So I'm not painting a Blood Angel tonight. Can you believe it? It's probably going to be the first time in like 5 years. I've honestly, I think
this first ever one of your Star Wars Legion models that you've painted.
On stream it is, yeah. But I have a half-painted Rebel Alliance army that I've had since before I started the Blood Angels Commander channel. I've never painted a single model since then that's not been Blood Angels. So this is the first non-Warhammer model I've painted in like 5 years.
I'm just trying to catch the chat because I haven't
Go
really
for
looked
it.
at what have we got? Bloody hell, that's quite large actually. Hi Resi, good to see you again, mate. Long time no speak. There we go. Resi doesn't think that Death Company spam was the best way of playing them either. There we go. We're on the same page. Carl says Blood Angel is a high skill army. I think it is actually. I genuinely think it is. Maximus is running 10 Terminators with a captain for reroll charges. Carter likes dropping Terminators in. Marius ran Assault Terminators have a Land Raider, felt weak, barely beat up a Demolisher. Yeah, I agree. I just don't think the extra survivability is nice, but the normal ones aren't particularly unsurvivable. There's a few people that really seem to quite like the units of Terminators, and Ariden has very, very kindly gifted some memberships out. That's really, really kind of you. You are an absolute legend.
Thank you so much, dude.
Supporter, which is fantastic. It's amazing.
Yeah. We've got a green DTM in the chat. That's like a worst nightmare, isn't it? Can't give him any more power. He already has all the power with the rules and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to build some new lists, I guess. I really wish the balance data slates looked more at units that get 0 play as opposed to singling out like a few units that they think people want to play. Because I think that's what it is, right? Would that be fair? Like, why have...
They just sort of... I'm never that excited about a balanced data slate. I remember when they first started doing them, I was like, oh, balanced data slate's coming, it's going to make... It doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
No blood does anything.
Because I feel like I would like to play a bunch of... Like, Outriders, for example, get 0 play right now. Could Outriders have been looked at? Maybe Reavers, 0 play. Could they have been looked at?
I don't think Outriders is that bad, actually, to be honest. I think Outriders are okay. The problem is that they're just sort of one unit, and there's not a lot of use for it. It's a unit that's got a reasonable number of light kind of chainsword attacks, and you know what else has got a lot of chainsword attacks? The assault intercessors, jump intercessors, basically everything else in the codex. They don't really bring anything more apart from they're slightly faster but crap at terrain.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the thing that seems to be the... I think that's my problem, is that they seem to look at units in isolation. They just go like, all right, let's bring those jump intercessors down to 160.
Yeah.
And let's look at, like, if we look at Outriders, so Outriders get less attacks, they do less damage, they have to, like you said, move around terrain, etc., etc., etc. I'm sure they do have some good things, right? Outriders have slightly more OC because each guy's OC2, but I think that I feel like you can't just ignore other units. But they do, that's what they do, right? Look at Desolation Marines. They basically, in the balanced data slate before the Desolation Marines came out, they said on their live stream, you know, like the 10-minute YouTube thing that they put out with each data slate, they said, we do not want to... This is... I'm paraphrasing here, but I'm 90% sure I'm right. They said that we do not want to nerf any unit into oblivion so it gets no play. Yeah. Have you seen Desolation Marines on the table one time since they said that?
No, I've still got my... what's it called? Task Force, whatever it was, the one that came in the Desolation
Strike Force Augustus, yes.
That's the one. I've still got that in the box that it came in.
Yeah, I've still got my Brutalis Dreadnought in the box that came in. Are you going to build the Brutalis Dreadnought now? It's 160 points. There's a question for you.
To be honest, I was going to build it before because I'm going to a doubles tournament with Mark in November.
Oh, cool.
He really wants to run like a all Dreadnoughts basically list.
Okay.
But because of the way legends and all this sort of stuff now, I genuinely can't run an all Dreadnought list anymore without running legends.
Yeah, because I guess a bunch of them went to legends, didn't they?
Because I've got loads of Contemptors and Leviathans and
Derrideos,
Ironclads and all this sort of stuff, and they're legends.
Ironclads, yeah.
So a big chunk of my... Because I've got a lot of Dreadnoughts, but the bulk of them are bloody legend. Yeah,
Orcs suffered yesterday as well. Brett was cussing, saying that like pretty much every single Forge World thing he had has gone to Legends now in the Orc Codex. I guess, will we be doing an episode on the Orc Codex?
Well, I wasn't going to because I haven't bought it.
Sure.
But I'll tell you what, the little bits I've seen make it look very interesting. If
The
I was
little
going to
bits,
start a new 40k army today, it would be Orcs.
yeah, the little bits I've seen make it look hella unbalanced, but
It looks very powerful, but also it looks very characterful, which I quite like.
it looks very what? Sorry.
Characterful, interesting.
Oh right, okay, yeah,
You know, they've got all these detachments, but every one of those detachments is fun,
yeah. I mean that's
which is great. You know, there's none of this like pointless. I mean, it's upsetting for me because I'm a Custodes fan, and their book was so awful, and then this the Orc one come out at the same time, and it's so good. You know.
Rizzo says we better do
Orc's got loads.
yeah. Rizzo says we better do the Orc episode considering we called the 3 Grots.
I mean, it's not.
Yeah, I have something like I played them last night and I got brutalized by them.
Yeah.
I learned a couple of things, which you always do when you're facing like a new army with a new detachment that you've never played against. But I feel like they're going to be a real handful because they're so damn tough to kill. Because their toughness is just high across the board. Even their crap guys, you know, even the boys, just toughness 5. It's like I was like, oh my god, like bolters are rubbish, absolutely rubbish against them. And guess what?
They've been toughness 5 for a couple of editions now.
Yeah. I just think that like a lot of the Space Marine guys are still rocking like blade guard, bolt pistols, infiltrators. You know, I can't forget the name of the guns that they've got, but they're bolters essentially. I was like, man, bolters just suck so hard against them, and then. So you're not doing any damage anymore, it feels like, with your bolters. And like one of the ways you're supposed to beat orcs is you chip them down with ranged firepower, right? Before they get to you and try and combat you, or combat the crap out of you. And I just felt like I just did none of that last night.
Still one wound though, aren't they?
Yeah, just bolters do nothing against them.
You know what's going to be weirdly good against them then?
A Reaper.
Assault cannons.
Yeah.
You're wounding on 3s and killing on 3s.
Yeah, we just don't see too many assault cannons in people's lists these days, I guess.
You know, I think maybe we're going to start, because like I say, bolters are rubbish, so I think maybe we'll start seeing some more mid-strength, strength 6, strength 7 weapons popping up to counter the orcs. Which is not necessarily a bad thing, because that shakes it up. That means you've got to change the way you're building.
Yeah, the Mega Knobs seem ridiculously good, Jim. Yes. I got slaughtered by them last night. They can have a 4-up invuln save and a 4-up feel no pain. That's very obnoxious. Aggressors might be good. As long as you've got the 2 pips of AP, they'll probably be okay. But no one's running aggressors anymore, I guess. They're another unit that basically got nerfed enough times that they got nerfed into oblivion, right?
Well, I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of them anyway. For me, the only reason anybody ran them was that combo with the what's his name? The you know what I mean? The
bolter aggressor. Yeah, I used it a bunch of times. It's good. I mean, it's still good, right? The combos.
But other than that, I don't think anybody was really running them. There was some synergy with Flamestorm and.
No, if you were running them, you were doing the bolter discipline, Storm of Fire nonsense. Yeah.
So, I really don't see. Yeah, again, I'm not a big fan of aggressors. I just don't think they're very good. And against orcs, they're all strength 4 with their guns. That's not going to do shit. It's a lot of shots, but you're wounding on 5s.
I thought the orcs seemed way stronger than Death Guard, by the way, Riziel, but I mean, maybe it's just because it was my first game against them. I typically beat Death Guard, but I always play Collins Death Guard, so maybe I think Collins is an alright player.
Yeah, I never got over the way that he, with that bloody rotating his man so you can't move through his maze. Remember that?
Well, you tried that.
Yeah. And I think he's still got the most cheaty points of your group.
Maybe. But yeah, no, I genuinely think don't know if I feel Death Guard are that big a problem for Blood Angels. I feel like the orcs are more of a big problem. I think based on my one experience last night, or maybe it was just that one orc detachment seemed very, very difficult for me to deal with. So, Tauntauns. Apparently, Tauntauns are very good in Star Wars Legion. I've never fielded them.
I've never played Star Wars Legion.
Did you not buy it? No.
No, Mark's been almost convinced me to play Shatterpoint a couple of times.
Oh, I really want to get Shatterpoint. I just don't think I've got time, man.
I just want to paint the models, to be honest.
Yeah, I want to do that as well. Yeah.
They just look because they're just that little bit bigger. They just look so much fun.
Yep. No, I think when my kids are a little bit older, I would get Shatterpoint just to paint the models, like their first Warhammer model, or their first miniatures I'd paint with them. Because every time my 2-year-old's in this room, he wants to touch every model that's out on the tables and stuff.
Yeah. Mine's still a little bit little for that, but he's still curious.
What was the orc pack that was impossible to kill? It was mega knobs because they have toughness 6, they have 3 wounds per model. They apparently have a 4-up invuln and a 4-up feel no pain. So basically every time he failed a save, he would roll 2 4-up feel no pains. It would only do 1 wound. So it took. I think I made him take it was ridiculous, Tony. I think I made him take 26 saves at -2/2 damage, right? From the blade guard, which normally would kill just about anything in the game. 26 -2/2 damage. He took 7 wounds from it.
Bloody hell.
And it was just I just bounced off him so hard, and he did roll a little bit hot there, but I was like, oh my god, that's my best unit. They usually kill anything. If they engaged with, let's say, because a few weeks ago I played against a player with a Castellan Knight. I mean, they probably kill a Castellan from 1 turn, from full health, and they did nothing. They just bounced, and then. He had a Mega Knob in combat with my Death Company for 3 turns. I just could not kill this Mega Knob. And I was like, oh my god, this just bogged me down my own deployment zone. It was a disaster of a game. And what was more of a disaster is I actually tried to start super defensively and still lost. So he did roll 8 straight 6s for saves though. Yeah, he made 8 4-up invulnerable saves in a row. I mean, that's not ideal.
Yeah, that's
When you're already behind, that's what happens usually, right? That never happens when you're already losing. That only happens when someone's already ahead and then they make 8 saves in a row. And it's like that.
They don't just win; they win more.
Yeah, it's fine. I learned a few things against orcs. If you play against orcs, what you want is a character with precision, and you want to precision the hell out of Makari with a character ideally that has dev wounds. So the Sagonor would be really good against playing orcs. If they've got Gaskell Thraka, keep him for intervention with him, and then precision out Makari with your dev wounds. Because Makari has a 2-up invuln, which is
hilarious.
Also fun. Yeah.
Because he is a Grot.
Yeah. Don't have the new Hero Quest stuff. Yes, I do have quite a few of the new Hero Quest boxes. DTM. Yeah, I was explaining to my 4-year-old what Hero Quest is. She's just not quite there yet. A couple more years, I guess. Hero Quest was basically my first start in miniatures. What about you?
It was a bit of a mixture. So I played. Oh, that's annoying. I played 40k before I played.
Oh, really?
Well, no, that's not true. What did I play? I painted 40k models before I painted anything else because my first introduction was a little local shop where I was living at the time. Decided to run a painting competition, and they gave you one of those space rings. You know, the ones that are like this.
Oh, right, yeah. Like the second edition box or something.
They gave you one of those, and you had to paint it, basically. And you took it away for a week and you brought it back. And that was my first ever go at painting. And I think I was about 7 or 8 years old.
Okay, and how thick was the paint? Did you water it down?
God, no.
God, no, yeah.
I only ended up 4 things. But I remember being, at the time, I was really proud of myself because there was about 50 or 60 people entered, and I came 12th.
Okay.
And I come 12th because I didn't really do a lot of painting. What I did was I painted the whole thing silver. A couple of little bits of detail, like painting his eyes and things like that. But I did a really cool base where I mixed muesli and PVA glue and green paint to make this kind of like lumpy, weird swamp base. And
Okay.
I got this, like, I come so highly because everyone loved this base that I made as a tiny child. And I got absolutely hooked. But the game I started playing straight after then was Age of Sigma. Not Age of Sigma, Warhammer Fantasy.
Fantasy.
So I played Fantasy for a lot longer than I played anything else.
What year was that?
Edition times, but
I was going to say like early 90s.
Sorry?
Early 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I never got Fantasy. I got the second edition box set for 40k. That's what started me on it. And obviously they came with Blood Angels and the rest is history. I remember using that painting guide in that second edition box and my Blood Angels look nothing like the painting guide.
Never do they?
Maverick says, Tony, are you happy all the Dreadnought prices came down?
I am happy all the Dreadnought prices come down because it means that I've got an excuse to build this mad Dreadnought army that I want to do with Mark.
Jim says, never engage Meganobs during a WAG. I mean, you say that, Jim, but they do get to advance and charge during the WAG. So it's pretty hard to avoid them. Right? I mean, unless I'm going to line up my models 1 inch away from the edge of my board and just stay there. I mean, that could be a valid tactic, I guess. Right?
I'm just annoyed with myself at the moment because I've managed to get a bloody pigment powder all over my best map.
If you need a minute to go clean it, it's all good.
Got to be no better than to use pigment powder on a good map. Oh dear. Live and learn.
Sangrengar do die very quickly, yes. So do even Death Company with the -1 damage die very quickly for a 400 point unit, you know that?
Your Death Company die immediately. You just assume that you're going to lose them after they've made their... So you keep them in cover, they do their thing, and then they all die. And you just got to make sure the thing that you kill or the damage that you do with them is enough. It's like when you used to Forlorn Fury them at the beginning of the game.
Yeah. You just
knew
want to
you'd
trade.
lose them immediately. You just had to make sure your target was good enough that it didn't matter that you lost them because you'd done enough damage before they all died.
Do you know what? Maybe I need to start thinking about Death Company differently. Maybe you're right, Tony.
They're a missile. They're an expensive missile, so you've got to make sure you get your points worth out of them.
Yeah.
But they are a one-shot weapon. Well, as far as I'm concerned, anything after the first turn you've used them is a bonus.
We're a glass cannon army now, says Carter. Yeah, maybe. That's why I like playing that Gravis, because I went to a tournament with 22 Gravis Marines and my Blood Angels.
I remember, yeah.
Not many people knew how to deal with that, to be honest, because I guess nobody takes 22 Gravis. Like, I think if you scour the globe, I think you'd be hard pressed to find another Blood Angels player that put 22 Gravis Marines in his army, right?
I can say I've definitely never done that. I've run 20-something Terminators before. 20
Terminators, sure. But I think I'm just the crazy guy that's like, you know, like I try something and then I'm like, yeah, that works. Okay, let's go with it.
I'm sorry, I've just got to interrupt because I'm having a night of it. Do you know what I've just done?
You've put the paint.
I've just mixed airbrush cleaner with my black paint.
Did you get enough sleep last night, man? Was your kid keeping you up?
Oh, no, I've just... work's a bit stressful at the moment, and I think there's like a cold or like flu going around at the moment.
Okay.
I picked that up as well. So my brain's just not in the game today. I mean, come on, that's a stupid thing to do.
No,
I've got 3 pots here, and any of them would have been better than the airbrush cleaner.
No, I had a day like that this week as well, where like my daughter woke up with a nightmare in the middle of the night, and I thought it would be a good idea to just take her into, because I sleep in a double bed by myself, take her in next to me and then I'll get more sleep. No. She proceeds the whole night to go at like a 90-degree angle and kick me and roll about, and it was like the worst night's sleep of my life.
Every single night he's with us at the moment, and every single night he rotates around and just kicks me in the face over and over again.
Yeah, yeah. So I had the most terrible night's sleep on like Monday, I think it was. So like on Tuesday and Wednesday I went to sleep like super early, and it was just like, when sometimes those nights you can't get back from it. For whatever reason, your body is just like, I'm out of sync for the whole week now because you had this shit night's sleep. Do Just skew like a boss. Alright, Carter, tell me what a skew is with the new Blood Angels points cost. I'd love to know what you're thinking.
But it's another 3 Vindicators.
I did actually think about 3 Vindicator tanks. I was thinking, what about 3 Vindicator tanks and 3 Death Company Dreadnoughts, and then like 30 Jump Intercessors?
I'd run that.
The problem is you need... Can Jump Intercessors be led by a chaplain? Probably, actually.
Yeah, of course I can. Jump chaplain.
So lead each squad of Jump Intercessors with a chaplain, so then you've got 3 chaplains on the board to give OC to the Death Company Dreads that are coming in from reserve. Bob's your uncle, maybe?
Sorry?
Bob's your uncle, as they say?
Yeah, definitely. I'd run that.
Just bring 3 Vindicator tanks. I mean, Vindicator tanks are very good. They're better in Gladius. That's the one reason that I keep thinking about Gladius. And I guess if you're running if you're running Gravis Marines, you're probably better off in Gladius as well.
Maybe, but people keep saying that about Terminators. And, oh, yeah, well, if you're just running those, you don't want to run Sons of Sanguinius. No, I do, because I really like Strength 10 Marines.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Strength 10 Marines
And the
as
same
well.
with, like, Aggressors.
I really like the one extra.
Yeah, Strength 10 Aggressors, we like that. So, I know I'm not the biggest fan of Aggressors, but they're going to punch hard with that, aren't they? So,
Yes.
I think Sons of Sanguinius works with anything except vehicles. And if you've got still plenty of things that aren't vehicles, it doesn't mean you can't bring them. It just means they're not getting any bonus from it.
Yeah, do you know what the biggest shame, honestly, is that stuff like the Bolter Discipline Aggressors, and I think someone else touched on this today, it's like stuff gets nerfed because it's good in one detachment. Look at Storm Raven gunships. Everybody that was a Blood Angels player was looking at the Storm Raven gunship going, oh, look at that thing, it's so terrible. But it went up 20 points today, you know, because in like some obscure, I think it's a Dark Angels build, it's really good.
Yeah. I did find it funny that the Black Templars are going to start paying for their multi-nulsers.
Yeah, well, yeah, they've had to roll back the fact that all the weapons are free, right? We didn't see that coming.
We did. We knew it was coming. In fact, we saw it a little bit with the Tau Codex.
Yeah, where they split all the the battle suits apart so that they could point them differently, right?
I don't think the Tau are stronger than the Orcs at the moment from my little limited look, but I do think the Tau are very, very strong. It's a brilliant book.
Drizzle said, I bought 3 Vindicators, 3x5 Death Company with jump packs for each of them. What do you mean you bought 3 for each of them, sorry?
No, you 3 units. It says 3 units of Death Company with 3 chaplains.
Oh, right, I'm with you. What do I think of Death Company Intercessors? I think they're a bit of a weird situation, right? Because, again, it comes down to the fact that usually you would take Intercessors to hold objectives and do some scoring, I guess. And I guess if you're looking for a cheap unit that can do a little bit of killing, Death Company Intercessors with chainswords might be okay. But, I mean, I guess the fact that they've got no OC is weird to me, I guess. Death Company.
I think the Intercessors are shite, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't really feel regular Intercessors. The reason I took them to the tournament I went to was literally because they're sticky objectives. Because I would sticky my home field and then I would use my Librarian Dreadnought to teleport them somewhere else and try and sticky something else. But beyond that, like, they genuinely you would go
damage, but I suppose you can make the argument that if you're looking for like kind of points per durability, they're pretty good. Basically points per wound on the table, they're not bad for that. And if that's what you need and you really do want to lean into that horde, then sure, okay, that's fine. It's not something that I would particularly run. I think if I was going to run a horde, I'd stick with the assault versions. But they're not awful.
Redeemers stayed the same points. I still have big problems with the Redeemer Rezio. I feel like there's too many things that will just kill it outright.
Landmine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a few weeks ago, it was like I came up against a Castellan Knight, right? Well, the Castellan Knight just shoots it off the table on turn 1. Cool.
Yeah, but everything else about that army is shite, so I wouldn't worry too much about them.
But I lost the game, I guess.
That says more about you.
Well, the problem was I had 2 Land Raiders in that list. The very next turn, he just shot the other one off the table as well.
Yeah, but again, that's the problem with going hard skew, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're going to
85.
It's going to be the Achilles heel, but
I was going to say this week, Gaskell Tharaka just ate a Land Raider alive in turn 2.
yeah, but isn't Gaskell Thraka about 400 points?
Yeah, but I just keep losing my Land Raiders in like turn 1. I feel like I just.
So you know, in both of those games, we're saying that a 600 and something point unit managed to kill a 200 point unit. Yes. And then in the next game, a 400 point unit managed to, in the ideal circumstances for it, managed to kill a 200 point unit. Yes.
It feels like a lot to lose, I guess.
It's a lot to lose, but you know, they had to use a quarter of their army to do it. If you dedicated a quarter of your army to killing 200 points of models on your opponent's army, I'd hope you'd be able to do it as well.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I don't dislike the Land Raider Redeemer, right? But my experience tells me one of two things happens. And I've played it enough times now that pretty much one of two things... Yeah, I'd say one of two things happens every single time I play it, right? What happens is it'll get hit by a bunch of firepower in turn 1. Let's say it's going to get hit by like 6 las cannons. 4 of them are going to wound, so I have to take like 4 or 5 up saves. That feels about average. That happens in literally every game I take the Redeemer. One of two things happens. I spike on those invulnerable saves, or they're not invulnerable saves, sorry. I spike on those 5 up saves. The Land Raider takes basically no damage. It moves to the middle of the board. I take over the game and I win easy. Yep. Or the Land Raider I don't pass any of the saves and it's dead. And my luck seems to say, in the games that are already difficult, like we talked about earlier, in the games that I know I'm going to have a challenge, I don't pass any of the saves and it just dies turn 1 and I feel like I'm on the back foot from turn 1 and it's a bad deal. On the games I probably know I'm going to win, or I've played the player a lot and it's not a strong player, I pass all the saves and Land Raider Redeemer's in the middle, causing death and destruction for the whole game, and there's literally no in between for me in Land Raiders, and I guess that's why I'm struggling to know if I should keep playing my Land Raider, I guess.
But then I think you get that with any time you run a kind of expensive Death Star unit, don't you? It's all your eggs in one basket. I mean, I've always loved Land Raiders. I think they're really cool, but I never used one really all the way from 3rd till 7th, because back then, when was it 6th, and they started to put wounds on vehicles, but you'd bring your 250 point model, and it could theoretically die on turn 1 to a lucky las cannon.
True.
So I'd never bring them. I'd always bring 2 smaller tanks, because that would take 2 lucky las cannons. And I don't think that's really changed, to be honest. They're a very powerful unit and they can have a huge impact on the game, but because you're putting all your eggs in that one basket, a couple of bad rolls and you've lost your investment.
Yeah, I think there's just too many things that seem to be able to put me on a really bad save. If the Land Raider had like a 4-up invuln, I'd probably be all over it.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't, I worry.
That was the old Achilles, wasn't it?
Yeah, the old Achilles, yeah. Because like I play Death Guard, and the second the Death Guard player, because I guess I was saying like I keep beating Death Guard, right? The second the Death Guard player targets my Land Raider, I smoke screen it and I Armor of Contempt it, making his like las cannons only AP 1, and then you're in a great shape, right? Because your Land Raider's just going to save on 3s. Sometimes you can roll 3-ups for days. So against Death Guard, like I feel like I don't really struggle against some of the other armies that are able to hit like -4 into the Land Raider or something like that, -5 from the Castellan.
Yeah.
Then I feel like it's a lot of points to just not even get to roll a save or only be saving on 6s, and I said, it seems to go both ways for me. I was thinking about reserving the Redeemer in every single game, Reziel. I don't know if I should, but I was thinking that is a play. Land Raiders don't suit my play style. Well, I guess typically what's in my Land Raider is the Blade Guard. I want to get the Blade Guard to the centre of the board. I want to get the Blade Guard to an objective in no man's land. But I feel like I keep making the same mistake with the Land Raider, and I don't really know how to resolve it. I did reserve it one turn, or one game, and it did really well in the game it was reserved. So, like, maybe it just needs to be reserved every game? I don't know.
I can see that working well. I don't know. It's not how I like to play. But I do. There is that whole rule of 3? Like 1 is none, 2 is 1.
Yeah.
When you're running this kind of like super heavy armor, I don't mean you have to run 3 Land Raiders, but I think someone put that in the chat, something like that. If you're going to run them, you've got to go to drizzle 4. Land Raider's a huge target. You need to spoil your opponent for choice. If you've just got that, it's going to die. You need to threat overload. You need to make them split their fire. And if you do that, then they can be a really, one of the most fun games I've played was running 3 Land Raiders this edition, and basically filling them all up with assault units.
I have awoken. Thank you so much for subscribing. You scared the crap out of me. Welcome to the channel.
It was so much fun just driving 3 Land Raiders full of horrible units towards your opponent's line, full on line breaker style, and just saying, "You've got to kill my 3 Land Raiders before we will disembark and eat you."
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's what I need to be doing, I guess.
And against some armies, that's just going to get wrecked. They're just going to laugh in your face. But the odd game, it's a fun army to play. It's a win big, lose big sort of army. And whilst if I'm playing competitively, I don't play like that because I don't like my chance of winning being what I've rolled to play against my opponent.
Yeah.
So I'd rather have. When you play sort of 5 games every weekend, I'd rather have 5 difficult games where I've always got a chance of winning than the chance of having all my games easy or just rolling the wrong opponents up and going into 5 games with no real chance of winning.
Yeah.
Lost me a bit, don't I? I've lost my beer. No,
beer. Where is your beer tonight?
Sorry?
Where's your beer tonight?
There.
What are you drinking tonight?
Elvis juice, Brewdog one.
Oh, Brewdog. Nice.
I didn't quite like this one, and it's been sitting in my fridge for a little while.
There's like a GT at one of the Brewdog distilleries up here near.
Really?
Brewdog's started in Ellen, right? Ellen's only like 60 miles from where I live.
Yeah.
So sometimes they run a GT in the distillery. Or the brewery, I guess. They've got like a big hall that they run it in. Andrew was actually at, I think, a Brewdog GT like just this weekend past.
Really?
Yeah, he went 2-1. He lost against Necrons. He was saying like Necrons or... He wasn't happy.
I'm quite pleased, completely changing the subject, with how this Dante's coming out.
Cool.
I mean, someone's going to be upset that I've just killed the gloss with the ultra matte varnish, but all the other units in my army are ultra matte, so I really don't want to have just one. I loved the gloss. The gloss did look good on his armor, but he just wouldn't fit with the rest of the army. I've just got to do the gems now. Now I cheat with gems, and this is just blood for the blood god.
Blood for the blood god.
The technical paint.
Yes.
And doing gold to leave the gems gold or silver. You can put a bit of a highlight on them, and then putting blood for the blood god over them gives like a really glossy gem effect.
Apparently, someone's saying there's an echo.
Painting it with the orange and the dots and stuff like that. This is a much quicker way.
Am I still echoing?
Sorry?
Apparently I'm echoing. Are you hearing me okay?
You might be. I'm not using headphones, so it could be echoing back onto you. I'll turn you down a little bit.
No problem. Okay. Sorry about that, guys.
So I'm very nearly finished this. Gotta put a little
So say-
bit of gemstones.
How many hours did it take you to do Dante then?
Not an outrageous amount. We did them in the stream. That was a couple of hours, wasn't it?
Yeah, we did on the last stream.
And then on top of that, it's probably, I reckon it probably took me maybe 6 or 8 hours,
Not too bad.
which is quite a lot for me because I generally speed paint everything, but he's Dante, so I couldn't really,
You wanted to spend a little bit more time on him.
a little bit more time than I normally budget. So like Mephiston, I did him on stream and I did him in 2 hours.
Really, as fast as that?
Yeah, because that's sort of been, I quite enjoy that game of how good can you do it in 2 hours.
Cool. I don't get anything done in painting wise in 2 hours. You know that.
Well, I have so little time that if I took like 6 hours on every model, I'd never get anything painted.
Yeah, that's true. That's why I get nothing painted. That's why it took me 6 months to do my 5 heavy intercessors.
Yeah.
I'm glad with how they turned out, though. I thought they looked very cool.
They did look good.
I feel like I really like heavy intercessors, but I feel like they're not quite there as competitive. They're a weird one. They are competitive in some senses, but not in others.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't entirely disagree with that.
If the enemy has a lot of 1 damage indirect fire, then they're amazing. And that's probably their strongest attribute, I guess. But, I mean, how many enemies have a lot of 1 damage indirect fire? I feel like it's Town Guard.
I did run them a couple of times at the beginning of the edition. I quite liked them. And I've had in my head that it might be fun to try and run them in my kind of Terminator heavy army. The reason being then that you're kind of really doubling down on that extremely hard to hurt infantry, super heavy infantry army. And it's going to, especially if they're teching into orcs at the moment, that's going to make it much more difficult for, you're going to make a lot of your opponent's weapons redundant.
Yeah, I mean, the choppers are going to just bounce off that, right?
Well, yeah. And also, anybody who's not orcs is going to be teching into killing orcs.
True.
So, anti-meta.
That's the thing. Anti-meta.
Yeah, because if everybody's... we've been playing a lot of Star Wars, right?
Yes.
And at the moment, the big deck in Star Wars is the Boba Fett deck. Boba Green.
Boba Green,
So
yes.
if you look at a tournament at the moment, there's still a lot of Boba Greens because it's a strong deck. But there's also everybody who's not running that is bringing things that are really designed to kill Boba Green.
Yes.
So at the moment, the orcs look like they're going to be very strong. So when you go to a tournament, you're likely to see a lot of orcs. But you're also, everybody who's not orcs is probably going to build their army to kill orcs. So if you've got an army that's very strong against the weapons that kill orcs well, they're really going to struggle against you.
Yeah, that's true. It's like a stat check.
So it's an anti-meta. You're going after the armies that are designed to go after the meta. If that makes sense.
No, it does make sense.
Which is why I've always liked running armies that are very different to everybody else's, because they look at it and they go, Blood Angels, brilliant. Death Company jump packs. Oh shit, why has he turned up with 3 tanks and a load of Terminators? You know, it's not what people are expecting. So it's not what they're used to fighting. It's not what they're going to be good at doing. Now, if you play against really, really good opponents, then that doesn't always work because they know how to adjust their army on the fly to fight something they weren't expecting.
Yes.
But the majority of people you play aren't that good. I know it sounds a bit mean, but you know, I don't even just mean people who don't go to tournaments. I mean people who go to tournaments, but just because you go to a lot of tournaments doesn't mean you're a good player. It just means you go to a lot of tournaments.
Yeah, and also if you don't have any experience against a specific type or a list, then that can sometimes just...
Yeah, exactly.
Like I feel like if I'd played against that orc list before, I would have done 10 or 15 points better, you know?
Absolutely. It's why I've always argued, because people always say things like X player is the best player in the world. And you say, why are they the best player in the world? I'm exaggerating, it might be the region, whatever. And they go, oh, because they've won this tournament. Okay, but there's a couple of things that we've got to take into account there. Firstly, that assumes that the best players in the area go to that tournament. Maybe the best player in the area doesn't like tournaments. Maybe they're busy on that weekend. It also assumes that that everybody they played against was also equally good. They're all really great players. They didn't roll that person who's the first ever tournament. Okay, you can say, well, you bracket up and you get against the best ones, but it doesn't mean that, that they had the right thing. So let's say that you do bracket up and you're playing against the best player at the tournament, but the best player at the tournament is playing against an army that's weak against yours.
Yeah. There's a so rock, paper, scissors to it, isn't it?
I'm great at tournament doesn't make you the best player in the world. It just means that you are great at tournament. Some of the best players, you're one of the best players I know, but you've never won a tournament.
Oh, thanks, dude. That's nice of you to say. I don't think I am, but thank you.
But that's for a different variety of reasons. You could say you have bad luck, but I don't really believe in that. You might make mistakes sometimes. You don't make mistakes very often, but you do sometimes. Sort of 3 games in, and you start cocking up.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I always find like game 5 at the tournament the worst because I have like no brain cells left.
So, and some people can cope with that better. Does the person who can cope with 3 days of tournaments make them a better player at Warhammer 40,000? No, it means that maybe they're younger, maybe they're fitter, maybe they're just good at coping with no sleep. All of these things come into play. So win tournament is a brilliant thing. Well done. It probably implies that you're a pretty good player. But to say that you're better than every other player, well, unless you played every other player in equal conditions with the same sort of army, that's just not true. And I mean, maybe it's my sciencey background coming through, but it's not a fair test, as it were.
No, that's fine. I like hearing that. To be fair, the first time I ever got to the top table of a tournament, having gone 4-0, and like you said, had a shitty sleep and all that sort of stuff, I brought in my deep strike unit and forgot to roll a charge roll. Yeah. So they just came in from reserve and just stood there. And then he charged them and they died. And I was like, well, probably not going to win this tournament, huh? My opponent probably was counting his fucking lucky stars because that was like my 5 unit of Terminators.
A couple of years ago, I did the exact opposite. I went to a tournament and I won.
Oh, really?
I didn't win because I was a better player than all my opponents. I won because I was getting lucky. I was rolling hot. I got the right matchups. Nobody was really expecting the stupid list that I turned up with.
So maybe what you're telling me is I need to stop worrying and just go back to building my batshit stupid lists that no one else builds.
And then if you go to a lot of tournaments, eventually you'll probably win one just by the law of averages.
And I will win one because, like I said, I have a 100% win rate against Innes Wilson. Innes wins tournaments all the time. Because when he played me, I was running some batshit Blood Angels thing that no one else was running. And I really think the only reason I bought it... I really think the reason I beat him, because he looked at my army, went, this guy's a chump and doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then probably took his foot off the gas, right?
Or even looked at it and goes, what the hell do I do with this? Redzi says, if endurance is a competitive skill, it can be included in the metric. And I do agree, endurance is a competitive skill. But there is a different skill set when you're taking that into account. A person who's very good at tournaments is someone who is very good at winning 5 games in a row. But against a person who's very good at winning 1 game, it's like sprinter versus long distance runner. Someone who's very good at, he might lose against you every single game, John, right?
Yeah.
It's a one-off. But if he plays you 5 times and you're in the 5th round, he'll always win because he's better than you at being, fitter and having that endurance. It's a different skill set again. You can't say this guy's better at Warhammer 40,000 than you. You could say maybe he's better at tournaments than you, but not that he's better at Warhammer because, well, Warhammer isn't just tournaments. Sometimes it's off.
That's true. I mean, I feel like I make this... do you know what? It's a good example last night in that, last week I made this tactics video. I don't know if you saw it, talking about how to maximize your close combat and how to do all the janky stuff. And it's I'm playing at Brett's Orcs last night, and I'm literally telling him, I'm helping him beat me. I'm telling him, you should tank shock here, and you should only charge this 1 unit because you can consolidate into this other unit, or pile into this other unit. And it's so I know the combat rules better than him, but I lose the game.
Yeah.
Because I don't know his army, I guess, and also orcs seem obnoxious to kill right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So there is a lot more to it than just has won tournament to is good. I'm a 40,000 player. I mean, it's certainly a good indicator.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to take away. There are people who win tournaments because they're incredible players. but it's not something you can use in isolation. As this is the only thing you can use to guard. So say this person's a good person on 140,000, because some people just don't like tournaments.
True.
Could be great players, just don't like that environment. Maybe they beat you every time, but you know, no one would know because you're the one that's ranked higher than them because they don't play ever.
Is a Storm Raven with a Brutalis and Jump Intercessors worth a shot now? Asks Barusha 907.
I don't think it is, but it'd be a laugh, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think it would be a laugh. I think a Brutalis and Strategic Reserve might be worth a shot now.
Brutalis, I think, is probably worth a shot. I'm not sold on the Storm Raven. I think it's too many points. Right, I'm trying to get it so I've got enough light to sort of show you this model, but I can't because apparently that's not a thing. But he is actually finished.
Hey, I like his non-metallic gold, man.
Well, he is metallic gold, but I flattened it to make it look less shiny. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it looks great.
But I went. If you remember last time, I mixed a lot of green in with my gold.
You did, yeah. You should post them on the community tab for the Grots.
No, I could do. So yeah, that is finally he is done. There we go. That is I think that's the first model I've finished painting since I did Mark's Christmas present.
So you're going to have to field him in a battle now.
Yeah.
Because Dante deserves to be fielded. I feel like I want to field my Dante just to try him now that the Sangre Guard are cheaper. I don't know if it'll be good, but I feel like I have to do it.
Yeah. I think you should just because he's cool.
Yeah, exactly. He's cool. And he gets like 9 attacks now. And he's AP3 and like we have nothing else that is AP3. That's the thing that I was screaming out for against Orcs. Like I wanted an AP3 weapon, but I had nothing in my list that's AP3 barely.
Yeah.
Even Centurions are only AP2.
Are they?
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you melt guns, but
not with Centurions, but
no. Ardeen says, "Good job, Tony. Well done."
Thank you very much.
So, what is the next model?
Well, I want to do some testing, but I'm going to leave you alone for a second while I clean my water pot because.
Okay.
Well, look at it. It looks like a swamp.
I was going to say, looks like.
It's all those pigment powder and things. So I'm going to do some airbrushing in a second. So I'm just going to clean this out, and then we're going to start on the next thing.
Yeah, I'm going to build some new lists next week. Then maybe I'm just going to go back to the drawing board and take models that I just don't take. Maybe get some Redemptor Dreadnoughts in there for a. Redemptor Dreadnoughts are still -1 damage, aren't they? Maybe they might be worth taking. Against all these power fists that Orcs have caught coming out, maybe -1 damage and T10 would actually be pretty useful. Redemptors are on a 2-up save as well, I suppose. So I guess if I'm getting hit by a boatload of power fists and I'm -1 damage and I Armor of Contempt it, so -1 AP, then I'm only... A failed save on a 3 is only meaning I'm taking one damage. Maybe Redemptors are not... Reziel, you were happy Redemptors were staying at the same points. Or somebody was in chat. I think it was you, Rez. What, you running multiple Redemptors? Anyone in chat running multiple Redemptors?
No. Well, I was running 2 occasionally, but not nearly as much as I did in 9th edition.
See, I ran 3 a couple of times in 9th. I actually thought 3 was detrimental. I thought 2 seemed to be the best number for Redemptor Dreadnoughts. They have giant bases, so sometimes if you run 3, you could end up...
They're a bit big, aren't they?
Yeah, you could end up like having like this daisy chain of Redemptors trying to get out of your deployment zone. It was...
I don't think I ever ran 3. I've run 2 quite a few times.
Yeah, I ran 3. Didn't like it.
3 was a bit much.
I felt like you could run 2 plus some Contemptors, but unfortunately Contemptors are long gone now.
Sadly, yeah. And same with the Leviathan.
Yeah. I'm never going to not be sad about that, you know that?
No, he's still my favourite looking Dreadnought.
Yeah.
And I also love the Ironclad. I think the Ironclad's bananas thing, and I think we got about 2 weeks before they legended it at the beginning of 10th.
It didn't. I was honestly going to rip the arms off my Ironclad and put on 2 of the Death Company claw arms and run it as a Death Company Marine. It'll be a red body with black arms. It'll be like something out of like Wolverine or Iron Man or something.
I wouldn't do that, but only because I think that the Ironclad Dreadnought looks ace, and I'd be really sad to pull mine apart.
Well, then just field it as a Death Company Dreadnought then, I guess. Right? You could just do that as well.
I don't think people would be that upset by that. Yeah, I do love the Derek Adao as well, DTM. It's such a cool looking model. Mine's got the, I've only got one, and I've got the Volkite arms on mine. It's the old resin one. I'd like the plastic one.
Man, I'm glad that I never took the leap there and bought that plastic set of Horus Heresy Marines, I'm telling you, because that was like 200 and some bucks, wasn't it?
I've got it. In all honesty, though, I've got it, and I've built some of the models out of it, but I've not painted any of them. The Contemptor's still sitting in undercoat primer in my things to paint pile.
Well, I've been saving for it for a couple of months, and then
it's a brilliant deal. If you don't mind playing with Legends stuff, it's a fantastic value for money proposition.
None of my friends want to play against Legends, though. Like Colin, Andrew, and all that, they just don't want to play Legends.
I understand that, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's a conscious choice. Which is funny, because they really don't want to play again in Legends, but then they don't want to put their scores into the Tabletop Tactics battle app. And I'm like, you guys have weird standards, right? Like, you want to play competitively, but you don't want to record the scores. So if you don't want to record the scores, why does it matter if someone takes, like, a Legends model? You know, like, if you're not going to record the scores anywhere, what difference does it make to you if I take a Leviathan? I mean, a Leviathan's not going to be game-changing or anything like that, right?
Very good, sadly.
But yeah, they have weird double standards, those guys.
It's a slightly shitter Redemptor Dreadnought for slightly more points.
Yeah. The manipulator claws on the Ironclad were amazing. They were pretty cool, weren't they?
Yeah. And they look great.
Yeah, that's the arm I've got, the manipulator claws. I think I had it built with the Hurricane Bolters and the manipulator claws. Actually,
I really like the Hurricane Bolter version. I think I prefer the double close combat weapon look.
Here's mine. He was 90% done before 10th edition came out, and he's remained 90% done.
Yeah, I think that's how mine's equipped. It looks good as well. I like your
I didn't paint this.
Oh, did you have
Mike painted it? Yeah. So he sent it to me like this. I would have possibly done a tiny bit. Like I asked him not to finish it so I could put the transfers on it. So I'd have probably, basically looking at it now, I'd have probably just slapped like a transfer on here, transfer maybe on here, maybe one on like.
Why don't you just finish it?
Do what? Sorry.
Why don't you just finish it?
Because it's not competitive. Because I can't use it.
100% finished anyway. It's going to be what, an hour to finish that model off?
Yeah, I know.
And they look great on your shelf.
I'm thinking about buying one of those things. Those what do you call it? Those big case things that I linked in the members room.
Yeah. They are wicked looking. They're very expensive though.
Well, I was thinking of just getting one to put all my Legends models into, and have them like behind me on my shelf in a nice case. Yeah, because otherwise they're just going to sit in a cupboard. Because that's where that guy is literally, and they're all sat in a cupboard. But yeah, you're right. I should probably just finish it. I mean, I plan on finishing every model I've ever bought. It's just time, man, right?
That's not happening, is it?
Well, I think it will when I finally quit my day job. So, like in 25 years, it'll happen.
Yeah, something like that. No, because by that point you'll have something else to do. Or your pile of shame will have got so big you need a new house to put it in.
No.
This is genuinely true, though. I am seriously considering. I was talking to one of my patrons, actually, Kata, and we're both seriously considering actually selling off big chunks of our collection because he and I have got whole armies in boxes unbuilt and unpainted. And I just, at the moment, the way 40k is, I can't see me investing the time to finish some of these armies.
Well, it's hard to keep up, man, because they're changing and legendsing things all the time, right?
Yeah, they are, but I've really not enjoyed 10th, to be honest. I've had some good games. That's, to say that I haven't had any good games at 10th would be untrue. I have, but I've not enjoyed it as much as I previously did. And I've not enjoyed it enough that I'm thinking, do you know what? I'm going to build this 5 or 6 unbuilt armies that I've got kicking around.
Can you put your finger on why you're not enjoying it so much, or not really?
I've not enjoyed the way that basically I've not enjoyed the shift to make the game more competitive. Now I understand why it had to happen, and I'm still going to "I told you so" to everybody in the chat who told me that I was wrong when I said that was how they're going to make 10th work by simplifying everything. But I don't like this. I like the jank. I like the silliness. I like the weird units and the high granularity of building things. So the simpler, more competitive design of the game now, I just don't have as much fun with.
That's fair enough. They have lost some of the flavour by trying to make it more competitive.
Exactly. It's the flavour is why I play Warhammer.
Yeah.
So I've just, since 10th has come round, I've played a lot more other games. I've enjoyed a lot of Blood Bowl, which is brilliant. I love it. I've got loads of teams of that, and I'm only getting more of them. I've enjoyed a lot of Necromunda. My Mordheim stuff I've dug out. And I'm super excited and into the old world stuff. And ironically, the only army that I'm playing in old world is a Vampire Counts, which is, all right, you can't see very well, which is effectively the old world equivalent of Legends.
Yeah, the vampires are old school, aren't they? They hail from the...
They're a dead army. They don't... they're a legacy army. So they're unsupported in the new old world. They just got their release rules kind of Legends document.
Okay.
But I kind of like that because there's a PDF of the whole army, and that will never change, effectively. They'll never get points drops. They'll never get new models. There's no FOMO or anything like that. The army is what the army is.
In some ways, that's probably quite liberating, is it?
It's very liberating because I can look at that list, know that there's never anything else coming out, buy models appropriate for what I want to do with it, and build my army with no fear it's going to become redundant, or they're going to Legends any of my models, or change the models, or release new updated versions, because none of that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like what most of 40k players would actually want, you know that.
So what I've done is, for this vampire and skeleton army, I've just gone through every GW property of the last 30 years, and I've just been picking models. I've got some really old stuff. You won't be able to see very well because it's just black undercoat, but like this is a skeleton musician from sort of the early 90s, right the way through. This guy that I'm painting at the moment, that's like Curse City. Then I've got the new Vampire Count model from the new Soulblight armies. I've got a metal in a box somewhere around here. I've got a black coach, the metal one.
The metal black coach, that's an old model. How did you get that? eBay?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's just a mixture of random undead models from the last 30 years, 3D printing like movement trays and stuff so I can put them onto the right base sizes for the new game, and things like that. And I'm just having a whale of a time building a completely unique army because I know I can invest the time in it. And frankly, even if the game dies, it doesn't matter because this is a legacy army anyway.
Cool. No, it's I bet that is quite liberating.
And I'm having a lot of fun with that.
Hey, if you're having fun, that's all that matters, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely. So
no, I get that. I've noticed a bunch of friends that were big advocates into 40k. That just have, I don't know what you would call it, dropped out. Not willing to play 10th edition.
Yeah,
just not willing to play, to be honest, because I joked about, like, I got a guy that lived like 100 miles away to come on stream and play Space Wolves, and I was like, I've got two friends in the same town that I live in that play Space Wolves. I've been asking them for, like, my channel's 4 years old now. I've been asking them for like 4 years, come on the channel, let's play a game of 40k, and they've both got like 20,000 points of Space Wolves, and they're just like, no, I'm not playing 40k right now. I'm like, well, why?
I am still playing 40k, but I'm not playing it as much as I was. I was trying to get multiple games in a week, especially now I've got my little boy as well. So I'm very happy at the moment with 40k, just playing in my Blood Angels. So I don't play many games, so I'm not bored of the one army that I'm playing. I might sell my custodes, I don't know. I love my custodes models, but they're not fun to play with at the moment. But then you've made the argument we're not playing with them anyway, so what does it matter? You've only got them for the models that you think are cool, so they're not costing me anything, taking up shelf space, and they look quite cool. So I don't know what I'll do with those, to be honest. I'm always hesitant to sell models that I've painted.
I bet. I don't sell anything I've painted.
I've sold whole armies that I've painted before, but I am quite attached to my Custodes army.
Yeah, it always seems like when we talk about them, you're very attached to the Custodes.
Well, in some ways, they were what got me back into 40k. Because whilst I never totally left it, I really wasn't playing much 40k or even paying much attention to it through most of 8th. But I walked into a store one day and I thought, kind of miss playing 40k. And I remember sort of seeing a few bits of the Custodes when they came out into the end of 7th.
Yep.
But I remember there was some of them in the cabinet at a Warhammer store. And I just thought, they're wicked cool. And they're such a small army. I haven't got a lot of time to play at the moment, but it doesn't matter because I need about 5 guys to be my whole army.
Yep. I think that's why Henry Cavill plays Custodes. Huh?
Yeah, probably. So I bought a couple of boxes of Custodes. This would have been middle of 8th. And had a lot of fun. It got me back serious about the game. And then I started watching a bit of YouTube. So I found your channel. I was just... and it really got me back into the game. So whilst I don't particularly like the way they play at the moment, I've got a lot... I like the models. I think they're cool.
Cool.
So I don't know what I'll do with them because there is a part of me that says, "Well, what's the point of naming onto models you're not going to play with?" Well, what's the point in building a vampire count army for a game that doesn't exist?
I guess you could argue both things. I guess.
Although I'm doing a really weird color scheme that I'm making up at the moment. I don't know if this is going to work. I've just had an idea.
Put an idea. And what is the colour scheme?
The fun stage of new army building, isn't it? Because you don't know quite how it's going to work. But I've got probably 150 models kicking around now that need painting, and I've got to work out a game. I've got to work out a plan to paint them. And that's exciting. That's new.
I got a couple of pieces here that obviously need work as well, but do you recognise these guys from their Star Wars card? Yeah, the ATRT and the Snowspeeder.
Oh, I like Snowspeeders.
I'm so unhappy with the Snowspeeder, man.
I'm not going to lie, John. It's not your best work.
I tried to paint it white, it didn't work. I tried to paint it grey, it didn't work. I now have it in some sort of mess of a colour. I don't like it.
Why didn't you get it commissioned?
I like painting my own stuff.
I mean, I understand the commissioning for the channel because you need stuff to play with in battle reports and you can't get it all done yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I commission stuff if I want to get stuff on the tabletop quicker, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, Star Wars is a big... I like Star Wars a lot, so before I had the channel, like those two models would have been painted, and they're not finished, they're half done at best. They were both done before I had the Blood Angels channel. I haven't painted anything for the Star Wars Legion since before the Blood Angels. The one thing that I was trying to do was trying to do like a night camouflage on some of these guys.
Yeah,
I actually thought that was okay, but yeah, I'm not sure the Star Wars Legion models are that detailed. You know that they're fine.
I've never seen one in the hand. Mark brought over some of his Shatterpoint models when he came to visit me the other week, and they were really nice. I got really excited about those. I'm on a Darth Vader kick at the moment.
Darth Vader.
Partially because I've been playing a Vader deck, but also I got the Vader comics, the more modern series.
Oh right, yeah, I know the one you've got. I've got a couple of those books,
and they are he's an absolute badass. It's so cool. Yeah, so I'm enjoying my Vader based things, and I quite want to paint the model now.
Have you read the new Thrawn trilogy? This is way off topic, but have you read the new Thrawn trilogy?
No, Mark's trying to convince me to, because I've read the old Thrawn trilogy.
Okay, yeah, because I read the old Thrawn trilogy, and I've read the first 2 books of the new Thrawn trilogy. And I mean, spoilers, Vader's in some of the books, I'll leave it at that. So I guess if you're on a Vader kick, you might enjoy the new Thrawn trilogy. It's got nothing to do with the TV show. I guess the Ahsoka TV show, and was he in another one? Or no, he was just in Ahsoka. I can't remember.
He was in Obi-Wan, wasn't he?
Was he? Or was
he was in the Obi-Wan TV show.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah. Not that I've watched it, but even I know that, because they even sold a set of Shatterpoint models based on the Obi-Wan TV show.
Okay, I mean, I guess
which is Obi-Wan versus Vader.
Care as much about Star Wars as maybe I once did. But he is in the new book. Darth Vader is in the Thrawn book. Sorry, that's what I'm trying to say. I need to finish the third one actually. The first 2 were good. Really enjoyed the first 2 actually.
Yeah. If anybody's ever looking for a white ink that's good, this is the new Scale Colour Artist line one, and this is incredible paint. It's really nice.
So James is in the chat. James, what are you thinking works well with the points changes then for Sons of Sanguinius? What are you going to be running? That's a question to anyone in chat that's going to be running the Blood Angel stuff. What are you most excited to run now that the points changes are live? Is there something that you weren't running before that you're excited to try now, or? Oh, you're talking about 30k. Okay. I thought you were.
No, I think I'm talking about 40k, but James has got a lot of Sisters of Silence. Like a lot of Sisters of Silence. Like how many of the Aquarius have you got now, James? 3, 4?
Star Party's like, I'm going to put my Blood Angels in the bin. Don't do that, man. They're fine. You're overreacting.
Yeah, they're fine. They're not. I think Blood Angels are in a pretty good place at the moment. From a playing point of view, I've enjoyed playing with my Blood Angels a lot more than I've enjoyed playing with my Custodes edition. Which is why I'm talking about getting rid of other armies, because I quite enjoy playing with my Blood Angels a lot more than any other army at the moment.
Yeah, I think I'm going to build a weird Blood Angels list. I'm going to go back to basics and try and I don't know what I'm going to try and figure out, but I'm going to try and figure out something. Maybe Land Raiders don't suit my style. I feel like it's too many points in a 1 or 2 lose for me. I don't know.
It could be, yeah.
Drizzle's list changed by 10 points. Yeah, that's an underwhelming balance data slate when you know that you're like a 49% army and then you actually just lose 10 more points.
I don't feel weak. I really genuinely, when I say that, I mean it. I do not feel weak when I'm playing Blood Angels. I did earlier on in the edition.
I felt weak playing against the new Dakari detachment.
Yeah.
because they've got they're literally their whole detachment has either anti-infantry or anti-vehicle. And that made me feel pretty weak.
Yeah.
I was going to say, speaking of Darth Vader, here's one for you, Tony. No
Nice.
OST lighting, though. I'm not that good a painter.
I'd like to be that good. Basic OSL is easy enough, but to do the really good stuff, like Elminster and things like that, it's just I'm not that. You got to practice it, you know.
I thought this guy was pretty fun to paint. This is the smaller Legion one. That's why I would like to paint one of the bigger ones. My league list went up by 80 points, says Darren. Yeah, I mean, sometimes that happens. So what happens if your league list goes up? Are you allowed to change it?
Then?
Suns are 51% win rate. Is that the win rate that GW are telling you, or is that the stat check win rate? Because I personally think stat check are probably more accurate than GW. I think GW don't report the correct numbers for some unknown reason. Because the stat check are just getting the data from all. Why would they be inflating the numbers? Right? They've got no, like, stat check are not trying to sell you models or anything like that, right? They're just actually getting the data. I think someone posted a picture of the stat check win rates this morning. It might have been me, actually, because I think Colin posted it last night. Drizzle says his record against Drukari is not great. The new Scourges are insane. Yeah, the Scourges are a real pain if you're bringing Land Raiders, that's for sure. I did beat them 2 times, but I got absolutely destroyed by them 1 time, Drizzle.
They're fairly fragile if you can get onto them.
Rizio says StatCheck do a better job than GW. Yeah, I think I trust StatCheck in terms of win rates, because there was a couple of times where StatCheck were saying, like, this is the win rate from all the data, and then the GW numbers came out and they were just massively different, and I was like, knowing what I know, I felt like the StatCheck numbers just seemed like much more believable. Yeah. So I do sometimes think that the numbers that are posted in MetaWatch, for some reason, are changed from what's fact. They're not fact. They're what they. I don't know why they wouldn't be, but I don't think they are. Because I don't think StatCheck have any reason to lie, right? Like, I know the guys that do stat. I say I know them. I've played against one of them in real life, and I trust them, I guess. Like, I've talked to the guy in real life. I don't think, and I know he's all about. Like, he's got plenty of armies. He could literally play any army he wanted to play. Like, 40k is his life, right? So, like, why would he give bogus win rates? There's no reason for him to do it.
Oh no,
so yeah,
I'm
if you
not
haven't
told on how relevant win rates are, to be honest.
But the problem with win rates is that they look at tournament play where people like Blood Angels, for example, at tournaments are all running similar lists, right? So like if I take a Blood I think this week I'm going to make a Blood Angels list, let's say, that's got 4 Dreadnoughts in it. Well, like I'm completely different from, like, no one else is running that shit. So like the win rates for me are completely irrelevant, right?
Yeah, and that's where I'm a bit sort of more hesitant on it.
Because if you make a Blood Angels list and take it to a tournament with 4 Dreadnoughts, you'll be the only person that's doing that. So win rates at that point are completely irrelevant to you, because literally nobody else has any sort of similar army to you, right? I mean, maybe somebody in chat is running 4 Redemptor Dreadnoughts or 3 Redemptors and a Brutalis, but I very much doubt it.
Probably me at some point.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, you're skewing the win rates, Tony. Damn you. Hey, did you see the trailer for the new Deadpool movie?
I did, yeah.
It looks awesome, does it?
Yeah, it does.
I was trying to depict from the trailer, because obviously the trailer's like 2 minutes. I haven't read anything about it. I've just seen the trailer. So is this like Wolverine from another dimension or another multiverse? Is that
I think
supposed to?
that's how they're trying to spin it. Yeah.
So, because there was a whole, wasn't there a bit in Deadpool 2? It's been a long time since I watched Deadpool 2. I think I've only seen it in the cinema. The guy Cable from Deadpool 2, was he not like dimension hopping as well?
No, he was time hopping or something. He was in the
Time
future.
hopping. Okay, right. Okay.
Oh, but no, it might have been Dimension as well, because of course at the end when he nicks the gadget, doesn't he? He goes to the other and kills off the other Deadpool from the X-Men Origins Wolverine movie.
Oh, I do not remember that at all.
Yes.
So I guess maybe I've got to watch Deadpool 2
In
in
the
the next few weeks.
post-credit sequence, Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool is sort of like dimension hopping around and visiting other multiverses,
Okay.
which is quite funny. And one of them, you see him, and you've got the bit in the X-Men Origins film with Deadpool
Yes.
in that, and he sort of appears in that universe and shoots him in the head.
Yeah, Wolverine. You're right. Hugh Jackman did say that Logan was his last movie as Wolverine. So probably what happened is they wrote him a check with lots of zeros.
Well,
And-
supposedly it was Ryan Reynolds managed to convince him to do it, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they're friends, right?
They're friends, and he wanted Wolverine in the movie.
Ryan Reynolds wrote the script for Deadpool 3, by the way. I don't know if you knew that.
I did know that, yeah.
Because I mean, he didn't write it by himself, but he was involved in the script writing. So I guess he
He's been
managed
involved
to.
in the script writing for all of them, hasn't he?
I don't know. I just know he's involved in the new one. I was really enjoying the MCU up until Thanos died, and then I think everybody was enjoying it until Thanos died, and then it's lacked direction. I have enjoyed the Spider-Man movies, but it feels like it's been too long in between them. Like I'm ready for like another Spider-Man movie or something, right? X-Men 97, he's been time jumping. Who's been time jumping in 97? Sorry, I put X-Men 97 on, but my wife said it was too adult for my 4-year-old, so we stopped watching it. I'm very bad at just letting them watch anything on telly, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not the best for that, as I've been pointing out. I was playing Resident Evil 2 the other day.
Okay. I was playing the new Final Fantasy, and there's so much swearing in that. You would not believe how much swearing there is in Final Fantasy 7 these days.
Yeah, but
So
I was playing as Ada and I got eaten by zombies, and so I was seeing her getting her throat ripped out, and it was like,
okay,
whoa.
all right, okay, yeah. How old's your kid? 2, right? No, 1?
Yeah, he's 14 months old.
14. Okay.
So he's really not old enough to be seeing.
Will there be a drunk live stream if we win the league? I mean, there could be. Unfortunately, Man City already won tonight. I did check the score during the stream. Well, I assume they won. They were 4-0 up. We need Man City to bottle it, I guess.
Well, I've already decided, as I paint this model, that this is not the colour that I'm going to use to paint this model.
Cool. So what does that mean? You have to start over?
No, it just means I need to find a different colour. Because it's just not...
You're just not happy.
Not giving me the colour I want.
Fair.
And it's not giving me the finish I want, so I need to switch it for something else.
Deadpool has a lot of multiverse arcs in the comics, says Reziel. And one of them is an alternative Charles Xavier reads his mind, discovers they're just in a comic book, and has an aneurysm and dies. Okay. Happy ending for Charles, I guess. Marius dropped out of the MCU at the end of the first Endgame movie. Oh, if you watch the first one, you have to watch the second one. I don't know how you could leave that. It was good at that point, I feel like.
There were some aspects of it that were good. There were some aspects of that movie that were less good.
I think they need to just bring back Iron Man and get the whole thing reinvigorated.
He's too old.
Just de-age him. Disney have the technology. Look at Thrawn Legacy or whatever it was. Not Thrawn. Tron Legacy. They just de-aged Jeff Bridges like 20 years.
Yeah, but it's expensive. They could do it for like a bit of a film, but you couldn't make a film around it.
No. The technology is surely getting better all the time, and with AI, surely they've got an AI model that just de-ages people now.
Yeah, but if you were the actor, would you be that happy with them just messing around with you like that?
If there's enough zeros on the check, sure. Jeff says, did you ever check out the thing I DM'd you looking at which data sheets included in the list that did well in tournaments? Jeff, I completely forgot about that, but now that I'm going to build a new list, I'm gonna use it. I think you must have sent it to me like Monday or Tuesday, and then I was obviously playing Brett last night, and I'm live streaming this tonight. And Tuesday night was filming my tactics video for Friday, so no, it's been a busy week, I guess. My weeks are always a bit busy at the moment, but I will use it because on Monday night I'm gonna build some unorthodox lists for Blood Angels. I think I'm gonna just go with double Redemptor. F it. Haven't done double Redemptor in 10th edition. I thought they were too expensive, but I'm just gonna go for it.
Well, what you got to lose?
Well, at this point, nothing. I've lost 4 games in a row, so nothing. I've got nothing to lose. All my channel members are making fun of me. No one wants to watch my live battle reports anymore. I've got nothing left to lose, Tony. That's it.
Oh, I used to watch them. I have to admit that I haven't watched one of your live battle reports in some time.
Oh, look at that! Yes, he's given up on me. I've got a crappy win rate.
I'll tell you what it is, and this is genuinely true.
I swear too much.
I used to watch them like when we had COVID and stuff. That was different as well. You know, we were just going out of COVID.
Yeah.
But I like watching them live.
Yeah, no, I like watching live as well. Yeah,
I can't really be asked to watch them not live.
Yep. No,
I generally work on Wednesday nights.
No, it happens to the best of us, man. I used to watch lots and lots and lots of Liam Dempsey. I like Liam a lot. I like his channel a lot. I think he's funny. I watch his talking head videos a lot as well. Again, like I would only watch him live, but I guess I've just been so busy the last 6 months. I think I haven't watched him once in 6 months, and it's nothing. It's just life catches up with people, I guess.
I enjoy it. I don't really enjoy it not when it's not live.
No, I get you. No,
I just don't have time these days in the evenings to sit and watch YouTube.
You'll get time when your kids are older. You'll get time back. I'm sure of it. Or both of our kids now.
It takes me. I have to put Alan to bed at about 7 time.
Yep.
So that usually takes a better part of an hour.
Yep.
On a good day.
On a good day.
If I'm coming back down at 9 o'clock time, then I'm probably going to cook some dinner or whatever.
No, I hear you 100%.
So yeah, just my evenings are no longer my own, as it were.
The only bat reps I ever watch anymore are yours, John. What a champion, Reziel. I love you, man. I just found over time I don't enjoy bat reps. Fair enough. I enjoy watching other people's bat reps. There's a few channels I like. I spend a lot of time trying to make those tactics videos, man. Probably like if you break it down, I get because like one of my friends was like, "Oh, you know, you must be really thankful for the YouTube channel." I was like, "I am thankful, but I also earn way less than minimum wage working on it, right? You know, like." I think I worked it out, like, maybe I make, like, $5-6 an hour working on it, which is probably generally really bad, I guess. But, like, it's something I love, right? Like, I love Blood Angels, I'm happy to make the videos. And I'm in my own house, in my evenings, I would either be sat around, like, just watching other people's content, or I can make my own content for $5-6 an hour. I take some of that money and I put it towards taking the kids on a holiday I normally couldn't afford. So, I'm quite happy to do it. But I suppose, like, it just is what it is. You know, I don't watch as much of other channels because I'm doing that.
Yeah. I do watch some live battle reports. Well, I don't watch them live, though. I watch some battle reports.
Yeah.
I like the tabletop tactics ones.
Yeah, I like them, and I like... Play on Tabletop are really good as well, man. They're a bit... They're doing that thing where they're shorter as well, which is nice. They try and
the other thing that appeals to me because they condense it down a little bit.
Yeah, like 45 minutes is great. So like anytime like my wife's like, I'm going to the shop for 45 minutes, I'm like, cool, I can watch something. It doesn't happen all that much.
Yeah.
Plus I've got my 2-year-old who his favourite saying at the moment is, "Want Spider-Man, Daddy." And it's like, if you don't put Spider-Man on the telly, he just shouts and screams at the top of his voice until I tell him, if you don't shut up, you're going in time out, basically. That'll be fun. You'll have that to look forward to.
Oh, he's already started that.
Has he?
He can't even bloody talk, but he already knows this. Shake, 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 shake. Come on, come on.
Yeah, we've been trying the thing at dinner time where I basically said, because like I'll be cooking dinner. And the thing that frustrates me the most is you spend 45 minutes cooking dinner and you just, the second it hits the table, before he's even tried it, I know like. And I was like, right, Michael, you do not know if you like this because you have not tried it. You will not get anything else unless you try it. And his face just crumbles up like, ugh. And I was like, that's the rule. Like, I don't mind if you leave it once you've tried it, but you are not getting to not try it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I've had a couple already of the lying on the floor, arms and legs flailing, screaming at the top of his head because I wouldn't let him fall down the stairs or something, you know?
Cool, yeah. I had one time, maybe like 2 weeks ago, I don't know if I told you this, Michael had, I guess I hadn't changed his nappy quick enough, so he just decided in the living room to pull his nappy around his pants. It was full of poo, and he's just walking towards the door, like, because I guess I spent 2 more minutes talking to my wife and not changing his nappy, he decided he was going to try and change it himself. Just leave a trail of poo through our living room. I was like, this is the life that I chose for myself. Yeah. Delightful, right? You know? Absolutely delightful.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Now we've just alienated our entire audience that doesn't have kids.
No, they could just laugh at our expense. That's usually what people do. People usually tell me, well, you wanted kids. It's your fault.
You picked it.
Yeah, you picked it.
I do like being a dad. It's quite fun, but free time is just something that happens to other people now. Between that and my job, then that's it.
Yeah. Hey, you finished Dante before me, though, so that's good.
Oh, yeah, it's not hard to beat you for painting, is it?
All right, fine. I'm going to crush you next time we play Star Wars Unlimited, you know that?
Give it a go.
So, I don't know, I beat Mark recently, I was pleased about that. Oh, that video is coming out like literally right this minute, by the way.
It's already out. Come out before we started streaming.
It came out tonight, did it? Did anyone did it have any views on it?
I don't know if the game did, but the How to Improve the Vader deck came out.
Oh, cool.
Which was a fun video to make.
So apparently in Star Wars Legion, the Tom-Toms are apparently really good.
Why?
I don't know, because it's a guy on the top of a Tom-Tom with like a DL-T-44 blaster. So I don't even know why that would be that strong. But
is it a bit like why Mark likes Kroot Hounds? Is in they're rubbish, but they cost so few points.
Maybe.
That they're very useful to have.
I actually found when I played Star Wars Legion, the Snowspeeder was a really good unit to have because if the opponent didn't have like an ATST or something, like they hadn't invested in anything like pretty heavy, the Snowspeeder's armor was reasonably decent. So like I guess like if you just have a squad of guys with blaster rifles, they aren't going to do that much damage to a Snowspeeder, and the Snowspeeder does have 2 rather large like turbo lasers on it. So when I played with a Snowspeeder, people were actually quite surprised. They were like, "Oh, the Snowspeeder's pretty useful," and I was like, "Yeah, because you need to have like some dedicated anti-air to deal with it, and not many people are bringing that." So that's your exact example earlier that you were talking about, like anti-meta.
Yeah,
no one's bringing anything that's anti-air.
If people were bringing normal armies, it'd be rubbish. But because everyone's taking into what's good or killing what's good, suddenly it becomes quite good because nobody's ready for it.
Yeah, maybe that's why the Storm Ravens went up 20 points. I believe Marius was asking why Storm Ravens went up 20 points. There was a detachment of Dark Angels, apparently, that were running like double Storm Ravens. And I actually don't know the full in and outs of the detachment, but apparently they were very powerful and they were winning some tournaments. I don't even really know how, because when you look at the loadout of a Storm Raven, it's like it's got a twin-link las cannon, it's got twin-link multi-melta, and it's got maybe like
firepower, is it?
2 missiles or something, and then hurricane bolters. So I don't know why it was that good, but apparently it won a couple, and it's got no OC as well, right? Because it's a flyer. But apparently Dark Angels were using it very effectively, or I guess they were using it borderline brokenly to win events. I don't know. The Iron Storm detachment made it better, was it?
It would have done, I suppose, yeah.
The Turkey's saying it went up because of the god-awful Iron Storm detachment. Carter's asking what brushes you use, Tony.
So these are Artis Opus Series S. I quite like them. They've got quite long bristles, whereas like the M's have got quite short, stiff bristles. My style is not that accurate. I like to just sort of do a lot of wet blending and things, so I prefer the longer bristles because it can hold more paint. I'm pretty pleased with them. The one I'm using for this bone is a size 3. I don't very often go much smaller than this if I can get away with it. You know, the only brushes I really use I've got here. I've got that's a 5, that's a 3, and then I've got here a size 1. If I can get it. Come here. There's my size 1. I only really use these 3. To do pretty much everything. And I've got some older brushes, and you know, that's a synthetic for doing blood for the blood god. That's a stippling brush and things like that. But for actual proper painting, I just use these 3 for pretty much everything.
I bought one of the Artist Opal ones. Like I think I would have bought a size 1 because I paint a lot of. I probably paint too much with a size 1.
Yeah.
But I bought the size 1 and it was quite expensive, but it lasted me ages. I was actually really impressed with it. I would have bought it again, but they are like 20 quid a brush, right, or something.
Yeah, my most expensive one of these is this one. If I can find it, there it is. And this is one. To be honest, this is just on the bit. This is my size 6.
Oh wow, okay.
And this is like about 27 quid or something.
So the Stormraven transported Redemptor Dreadnoughts, apparently. It's a lot of points, though. Like a Redemptor Dreadnought and a Stormraven, just those 2 units, is 500 points, right? Or the best part of it.
I don't know what it's for. Why would you bother transporting it? It's got quite long range.
I guess so it can maybe disembark, shoot, and then melee. I mean, it's got pretty good melee.
It's pretty good melee, but it's not like stunning melee or anything.
I suppose you could, yeah, but maybe there's a tank shock in there as well for guaranteed 6 mortals.
Maybe. There's got to be something like that, hasn't it? I'm missing something. Maybe there's some like synergy with Dark Angels to make it even better or something that I just don't know. Because if they got some like weapons of the Dark Age or something like that to make its plasma even more powerful, and
oh, you're probably right. Yeah, I don't know the ins and outs of the Stormraven thing, but that's why they went up in points. Because
there's probably some horrible Dark Angel-y combo that you can do with them.
But again, that's one of those horrible things where like it's good in the Dark Angels detachment, it's probably trash for everybody else, but because it's good in that one detachment, it has to go up like 20 points. Screwing everybody that wanted to maybe try it in another. Like someone was saying, I think I saw it in Discord or maybe it was on the Facebook group. Someone was saying, I've been waiting months to play my Stormraven. I was waiting for a points drop and now it's gone up. You know.
That's always upsetting.
Yeah, that's quite upsetting. That's why I'm not convinced about these joint detachments being a good idea. Everybody gets all the units. I think they should have done it. I really think they should have done the ability to make a unit more expensive for a specific thing, right? Like, you know, like rather than, I guess they kind of had to do it today with, like, they made Black Templars, you know, they have to pay for their multi-meltas now. They should have just done it where Black Templar Land Raiders were 25 points more. You know, like, rather than, and then it would be like, right, we've opened the door for, hey, a Land Raider in Gladius is better than a Land Raider in Sons of Sanguinius, so guess what, in Gladius it's 10 points more. You know, like...
I do, yeah, I agree with you.
I think that would have been better, but I guess that's a lot more admin and overhead.
And they don't want to do that effectively.
Because that's the thing with the aggressors, is the Flamer aggressors have almost been eliminated just because the Bolter aggressors in that one Gladius detachment. Because I think I would... If aggressors were still, I think like Flamer aggressors are probably fine if they'd been like 30 points per model. I think Flamer aggressors might have been able to be played in Blood Angels. But because of the stupid Gladius detachment, they went up to 40 points per model, and I don't think Flamer Aggressors are nearly good enough for 40 points per model.
No, I think you're right.
And I guess that's the huge drawbacks of the changes that they've made this edition. And I guess that's why some people are upset about the points costs or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. You can get Da Vinci sometimes, Flowbrain. They're not that cheap here, though. A lot of what you buy, like I've got the Squidmar brushes there and things like that, and they're effectively just Da Vinci's. So a lot of the OEM brushes are made by them. They're not bad. I've used them before. They're very similar to these ones. They've got the long bristles that I quite like. They're just quite hard to get.
Apparently, Dark Angel's Iron Storm was performing very, very well with just a much lower player count.
Yeah. That makes sense. So I'm a bit of a brush, a bit like paint. I've got so many brands of paint and brushes and this sort of stuff. I do quite enjoy playing with new ones or playing with brands that I've not seen before, and say especially with paint. If I see a brand I've not bought any or never used one of before in a shop, then I'm almost certainly going to buy it.
You're a bit of a paint connoisseur, aren't you?
I just like it. I just find it a lot of fun. I've still got a couple of ranges of paint here that I've not even used yet that I've bought to do reviews on.
Oh, cool.
I've got the TT Combat one, which is Troll Trader. They did a range of paint they kickstarted. I've got the complete line of that to test. I've got the Warcolor nostalgia paints in here that need testing.
Warcolor, I've not heard of them.
Well, they did a range of paints that were supposedly like the old GW ones of the 80s and the 90s.
Oh, is that the ones? They look almost like the same boxes from the same pots.
Yeah, absolutely, that's the ones. Yeah.
Oh, I remember you buying them. I didn't realise you still hadn't tried them.
I've got a set, but I still haven't tested them.
You must have had them for like a year at this point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
This skeleton one is going a bit more yellow than I wanted. I wanted him a bit more green, but we'll see how he turns out.
So my last hurrah in Star Wars Legion, I guess at this point, was like, I want to say this was like 2 years ago or something. I bought these Tom-Toms because they were apparently meta, and I bought a squad of Echo Base Defenders. You are familiar with the Echo Base Defender. Look, I got this one with I don't know what this gun's called actually. Some sort of like long carbine.
Yeah.
So I bought the Echo Base Defenders just because they're cool, right? And I needed more troops. They're like a troop choice. And I bought a squad of Clan Ren, which are the Mandalorians from the Clone Wars, I believe. Would it be Clone Wars? Or is it Rebels?
No idea.
So these are They're not like Mandalorians from the new Mando show. They're like the cartoon. They're from one of the cartoons, Rebels or Clone Wars. For me, they kind of blend together. I've only watched them one time. And I guess they're cartoons, so I probably wasn't paying full attention to them at the time. But so I bought these guys. I made them and I sprayed them probably 2 years ago. Or it feels like 2 years ago. Maybe it wasn't quite 2 years ago. But I've had the models for like 2 years. So I figured... Yeah, I don't paint them on the Blood Angels channel. I always just paint my Blood Angels, I guess. I'm going to paint Outriders this week, Tony.
Really?
Yeah, I've got 3 that are like they're the same state as that Leviathan Dreadnought, maybe a bit behind, but I've had the Outriders for like I've had them since the Indomitus box, right?
Yeah. Oh, well, I did my 3 out of the Indomitus box, but I never did any more than that.
No, I never even finished my 3 out of the Indomitus box because I had them half painted. I played them in a couple of games and went, oh god, these things are trash, and then I never bothered with them again. So I am going to, because I don't really know what I'm painting next, because I don't really know what. hey, if I run these Redemptor Dreadnoughts and they work for me in a weird list, then great, because I've already got 3 Redemptor Dreadnoughts and they're already 3 fully painted. So that would be an ideal situation where I run Redemptor Dreadnoughts, I fall in love with them, and I'm ready to kick some ass with Redemptor Dreadnoughts. That would be an ideal situation for me. But I don't think it's going to happen. But I'm going to try it. I think.
Well, there's only one way to find out, isn't there?
Yeah, it's not like I said. I'm not like I'm winning games left, right, and center. I'm just losing every week at the moment. I've got Aldari. I'm playing Aldari on
smallest violin.
Play me a small violin, yeah, sure. I'm playing Aldari on Wednesday next week, so that'll probably be another loss, right?
Definitely.
Thanks for the vote of confidence, my friend.
Oh, you need it. Your ego needed taken down a peg.
Yeah.
I'll put a bit of that in there.
I was using Terminators in 9th edition when no one was using them. They did all right with Take a Chance and put them in the list against us, Carter. I mean, you're right. I was using them when no one was using them. I was also using Redemptor Dreadnoughts, I feel. So maybe I'll just go build a 9th edition list.
Just go and build one that's fun. Use a few units you haven't tried out yet in 10th, and you never know, it might do really well. And if it does really well, then bonus. And if it does really badly, then you'll know why nobody was running them.
Yeah. Redemptors are really tanky but not reliable for damage. You don't think they're reliable for damage even with their melee or just shooting? Terrence. Hi, Terrence, by the way. I don't know if we said hello to you. They're more reliable than they were in 9th, though, right? Because in 9th they only got D6 shots from their plasma. Now at least they get D6 plus 1. I mean, it's better.
It's still pretty random, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose it's pretty random. I mean, maybe Vindicator tanks are just good again at 100. Is that the cheapest Vindicator tanks have been this edition? Because I think the edition came out, they were 210, then they went down to 190, now they're 175.
It's definitely it's cheapest. I think it's the cheapest. That, in all honesty, they seem ludicrously cheap.
I think they're trying to sell off the stock of the Vindicator tanks so they can legends them.
They'll make them legends. I was running them at 210. And
I was running them at 210 as well, yeah. I think I was running 2 of them at 210.
So dropping them down to 175 or whatever they are now,
now I want 3.
I'm laughing, yeah.
I guess if you play Gladius and you go triple Redemptor and you just go Devastator Doctor on turn 1 and just advance forward, you're killing some stuff with 3 D6 plus 3 Demolisher Cannon shots.
Yeah, exactly.
Terrence says they keep getting lower. It's amazing. Yeah, okay. Maybe I got to get 2. Maybe I need like a core. Like the core of my list is like 2 Redemptor Dreadnoughts and 2 Vindicator tanks. One Redemptor, because what will happen is people want to come and melee my Redemptors, right? Sorry, they'll want to come and melee my Vindicator tanks. So I'll give each one a Redemptor bodyguard. How about that? So
I mean, they can, but also remember the Vindicator can fire into combat.
Well, that's true. Yeah, it can fire into combat. But yeah, I mean, when they come in to melee it, I'll try and have 2 CP ready so my Redemptor can heroically intervene and like smash them a few times with the fist, maybe. I don't know.
Just really wreck face. I mean, Mark borrowed my 2 Vindicators to take to that tournament.
How did he say?
I don't know. He did actually. I think he middle of the pack it.
Fair enough.
But he borrowed my 2 Redemptors and 2 Vindicators to take.
Oh, he did that. 2 Vindicators, 2 Redemptors.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, I'll need to ask him about it then and see what was his weakness, or what was the weakness he thought the list had. Maybe.
You know, when you're like, I'm still working on this, and I'm still not totally sold on this color scheme.
Yes.
But it's sort of coming together, but it's a little bit more yellowy than I wanted it to. So I need to try and grime it up a little bit. I've got this idea that I want it to be slightly sort of like swampy bone.
Yeah.
The idea being like think like dirty old city canals and whatnot.
I mean, that's a cool idea.
So I want it sort of like a little bit moldier effect. So I've tried to mix some green tones in with what I'm doing, but they're not really coming through as much as I would have liked.
Do you know when I bought these guys, I forgot that echo-based defenders were white. I hate painting white.
No, I'm not a big fan.
Not my favourite. Yeah, I mean their outfit is literally all white, maybe like with a tan scarf, maybe a bit of grey, maybe grey pants. What colour are their boots? The echo-based defenders. I think they're like tan as well. Are they?
I think a pale grey. I remember it's half of them.
I was thinking, like with the Tom-Toms, I just painted them like what colour was that? It was like a light blue. I painted them. I think I painted them Fenrisian grey. Actually, I was just going to dry brush the whole Tom-Tom white on top of the. I'll maybe give a second coat of Fenrisian grey, but I was just thinking like I'll just Fenrisian grey it, then I'll just dry brush it white.
Yep.
And that'll be it done because it's got plenty edges for me to catch, you know.
Yeah.
So I thought that would be a lazy way of I'm not trying to get these guys to look good like my 40k stuff, I guess.
You just want them basically painted so when you play with them, they don't look totally shit.
Yes, they're not totally grayscale. But I haven't played Star Wars Legion in like 4 years, so I don't even really know why I am painting them. I guess I'm just painting them because why not?
They're fun.
Why not?
And you like Star Wars and you like Star Wars stuff.
I do like Star Wars stuff. Maybe all the practice on this will let me eventually paint my Imperial Assault units.
Don't be daft. How long have you had that game now for?
Since I started picking up at the beginning of COVID. So I guess 4 years. Was COVID 4 years ago now? Is that right? Was it 2020? Yes. Yeah, fucking COVID was 4 years ago. That's crazy. As you get older, I swear time goes faster.
Well, it does.
Relatively.
Well, yeah, because if you think about it, right? If you're 10 years old,
yes,
then a year is at 10% of your entire life.
Yep.
So it feels like a long time. But when you're 40 years old, well, it's only
40th
life.
Yeah.
So it's a very tiny amount. So it goes a lot faster. So comparatively to your age, as you get older, a year becomes less of your overall life. So it goes faster.
Yeah, crazy, isn't it?
So yeah, every year it does go faster.
Every year is going to go faster. How have you been getting on with your exercise, by the way?
Not as well as I would like. I'm just struggling to get to the gym at the moment enough because I've just got so much work on. My job role changed a bit earlier on this year, which was an interesting time. And the upshot of it is I'm absolutely swamped. We're also going into exam season as well, which is the hardest time of the year for me.
Is it? You don't get more time with the kids like away on study leave, or that doesn't really happen?
They don't do study leave anymore, really.
Or do they not?
No, because, and I've said this to kids before, really there's only two types of kid that study leave is appropriate for. And the first kid is a kid who's getting straight A's. Yeah, never gets anything less than top grades in every exam. They work themselves to the bone. They deal with everything themselves, and they're super motivated. Well, those kids can go on study leave because there's no reason not to. You know, they're not going to get anything out of being in school. They're just going to work home. It's fine. So if you're an absolute top best kidist in the world, then fine. Alternatively, you look at the other end of the spectrum, the absolute no-hoper, right? The kid that's only in school to bugger about. They don't really want to be there. They're not going to do any work while they're there, and they're just going to be disruptive and to prevent other people from learning things, this sort of stuff. And you've just sort of, you know, you've given up on them. You can't help this kid because they don't want to help themselves. They can go on study leave because the only thing they're doing at school is preventing other people from learning. But for the 99% of kids that are left over, so not the absolute no-hopers or the supreme beings,
Yes.
you're better off having them in school where you can teach them things. And you can be there to make sure that they're not skiving off and playing video games or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's what I did on my study leave. It was good.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. Didn't do much studying, that's for sure.
No.
I don't know if I told you this. My dad, bless his heart, decided that when he was on study leave, what he would do he would take. Do you remember when computers used to have like kettle leads for the monitors?
Yeah.
He would take the kettle lead from the computer with him to his work, so that if I did want to put the computer on, I would have no kettle lead, so could not put the monitor on. So 15-year-old John, what did he do? He went uptown and bought said kettle lead and hid it in his cupboard. So whenever my dad went to work, with the kettle lead from the computer, so I couldn't like sit home and play video games, I just went to the cupboard and took out my kettle lead and plugged the monitor back in and played video games all day. And like an hour before he came home, took the kettle lead back out and hid it, I guess, back in my cupboard. It was great until he came home one day, like halfway through the day, and wondered why the monitor was really hot. He didn't buy. Yeah, he didn't buy those because it was a hot day. I mean, I tried. I swear to God, I tried, but no, he didn't buy it. I honestly think I got leathered that day. But that's what happened back in the day, you know.
Yeah. I used my study leave to take on some more hours at work.
Okay.
Because study leave was great, but what was better than study leave? Money.
Money, yeah. So, okay, so they've changed study leave. That's probably for the best.
Yeah.
Jeff's asking, is time relative, Tony?
Of course it is. It's relative to how fast you're moving.
Yeah.
But it's relative to a lot of things. The faster you go, the different you'll move through time differently, and the way you'll be perceived will change as well. But we're getting into a little bit too much general relativity for 11 o'clock at night or whatever the time is on a Thursday.
I was going to say, you do that all day at work. You don't want to do it at 11 o'clock at night. Yeah, we might need to end the stream in the next 20
I've genuinely no idea what the time is.
It is 11:10. So we have been live for 2 hours, 7 minutes.
So this skeleton is not too bad, actually. But he is, like I say, he's a little bit warmer than I wanted. I really wanted a kind of cold, but I'm hoping that maybe with some enamels and things like that, I can bring a bit of that cold back into him. And a bit more of that green back in. But from a purely skeleton point of view and not spending a lot of time on it, because I really haven't spent a lot of time doing this skeleton.
No, you haven't been on it at all.
He's not looking too bad.
Good. Yeah, I think that's a liberating idea, picking an army from the old world that's never going to get balanced, that's never going to get legends, and just do a project. Because I think the finite nature of it is, it feels like a real negative to me. I never want to hear any of the models that I've spent time and effort on have gone legends. I just think that's like they do that enough times, and like people will. People have already quit over it. I mean, more people will quit.
2/3 of my painted models went legends at the same time. 2/3 of my Blood Angels went legends. And I was pretty devastated, to be honest, because people around my way didn't want to play legends. So, I've got display cabinets now full of models that I couldn't play with.
Yeah, well, that's why I was thinking of buying one of those display cabinets to put a bunch of my legends into. And also put a bunch of, like, Sangre Guard that literally never get any play anymore. Maybe that I mean, I'm going to run some Sangre Guard this week. I am going to run them. I remain unconvinced that they'll be viable. I guess.
Well, yeah, me too. To be honest, I don't think nominal. How many points was in there? It's like 1 or 2 points.
2 points per model.
Yeah.
I think. Was it 2? They went down. Yeah.
It's not a lot.
No, 4 points per model. Sorry, they went down 20 and 40. 40 for the 10-man. So yeah, 4 points per model.
I don't think that's enough. I don't think they're going to see any play.
Well, I think the problem. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of problems with them. I suppose we could talk about their problems all day.
Yeah.
Jeff says he doesn't think that they're shit anymore, but he's not sure if they're any good. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I feel like I'll give them a run out, one game. Probably they'll still feel super horrible when they start dying and feel like it's too much to lose because they're super expensive, and then I'll have to put them on the shelf for 3 more months again. Cool. I got a little bit done on these guys. They have 3 colours on them now, so they could be fielded.
That's not bad, is it?
No, it's not the end of the world.
I'm relatively pleased with how this skeleton's coming out.
I'm going to have to head, though, because I'll need to speak to my wife for a few minutes before bedtime or I'll get in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to try and zoom in, but I don't think it's going to come out with the light in here.
No, it looks good. It does look good.
So yeah, I think it's a start. And it didn't
Is
take
he
me too long.
He's a skeleton hanging by his neck. What does he
Yes,
actually
so technically
do?
he's not a model. He's not a gaming model. He's out of Cursed City, so it's like a token kind of thing more. But,
Oh, right, so he's a token for a unit. Because I was going to say, how useful is he in combat if he's just hanging by his
so,
neck?
like I said, I'm going to mix in all this sort of like random stuff. I've even started mixing in some Blood Bowl miniatures into my units of skeletons and zombies. And
Okay, cool. It's just a bit of a hodgepodge for a bit of fun.
well, yeah, because they're still a skeleton, isn't it?
Yeah, true. Of course it is.
So it's it's all ranked up, so it doesn't make a difference. It can be a casualty. So like my zombies, for example, there's some Blood Bowl flesh golems, kind of Frankenstein monsters.
Okay.
So I've got a couple of those that I'm putting on larger 50mm bases,
Yep.
and then so that will take the place of 4 zombies in the unit.
I see. Okay.
Well,
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
maybe the Frankenstein will come out or whatever. They call it like a unit filler to bulk out because you're running units of 100, it gets a little bit boring.
True.
So I'm mixing in a few monstrous, like horrible things and stuff like that. It's going to make it look more like a shambling horror horde and less uniform.
Yeah. I'm getting notifications on my watch that's saying like people are commenting on the video I did on Blood Angels Commander saying Sangre Guard are still too expensive.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Cool, guys. If you enjoyed the stream, thank you for hanging out so long. Please leave a like on it. We would appreciate that.
Absolutely.
If you're seeing us for the first time, then consider subscribing. We will have.
We are hemorrhaging subscribers at the moment.
I was going to say we are hemorrhaging subscribers. We will have an Orc video out. We will have more 1000 Point Tau videos out.
Yeah, definitely.
And
we've got some ideas about some army list building stuff as well. So there's a few different videos that are going to be coming out on the channel over the next few weeks. It's quite exciting times.
Cool. So we'll see you on the next Grotty thing.
Podcast. Yeah,
Podcast.
True.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Yeah.
Good night.
Cheers, guys. Wait for John to click the button. You have, but you're still on the screen. Now you've just turned OBS off, but not the stream.